first shot for Week 10 of the NFL season. I am your host, Chad Morton, but you can call me the agent. We had a bye week last week. I apologize for not being able to make anybody any money as we were out in L.A. selling our feature film, The Realtor, produced by Smash Entertainment. More on that later. But we are joined, as always, by the 21-year professional football veteran and coach, the disruptor, Lois Cook.
That's right.
Woohoo! And to her right is the two-time Super Bowl champion and Washington Redskins / Commanders Hall of Famer, the legend, Gary Clark.
Hail to
Redskins.
Well,
To my left is a veteran of ESPN and too many newspapers for me to count. He is the Professor Mark Gray. And as always, I am the agent, Chad Morton. We're here to make you some money. Apologies for the bye week as we were out in LA, but we are back. And though we missed last week here, we all watched last week and we saw some games that just stuck out. Two teams I want to talk about, particularly with both Lois and Gary, and then another one to the Professor. Lois, tell me about your Baltimore Ravens.
yeah. Well, they came through, didn't they?
In a big way.
Huge win. A huge win over the Seahawks. 30-some points, right? So, but we knew they were going to. I mean, they're a strong team. The Seahawks, I definitely didn't expect them to be so.
You get beat that bad.
How do you say this? I don't know.
Sorry?
Yeah, unproductive. But yeah, they pulled it off.
Gary, what do you got to say about your Washington Commanders?
Well, they should have won the game.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to win the game. And I hate when people are saying, and don't get me wrong, Belichick, he's a genius. I mean, he's probably one of the best of all time, but not the best. But if they don't win that game, they could have really kissed their season completely goodbye. I mean, quite honestly, they got to start kicking butt. They got to start almost win out, quite honestly, to have that type of going in, that momentum to go into the playoffs.
And the Professor, I got a game I wanted to ask you about, and that is the Cowboys and the Eagles. I got no dog in the fight, but a lot of people say the Cowboys got robbed last week. What do you say about that?
they did what they always do down the stretch. They fold like cheap suits. I mean,
So
we've seen this
disrespectful.
act before with Dak. I mean, you know, if you got he is by no means Roger the Dodger, the comeback kid. He ain't, Troy Aikman who'll beat you down. I mean, to me, he's the biggest commercial hype in the history of that franchise and the most disappointing because of it. It was nothing that I didn't expect to happen, and it did. And I figured it was going to happen at the beginning of the season, and it has. Cowboy fan, here comes Thanksgiving. It's downhill after the meal.
You know, I don't know who's to my left. Is it Mark Gray or Stephen A. Smith? Somebody who just don't like the Cowboys. But let's get to you because we've got to get you all some money. We're going to start with game one, and we're going straight to the disruptor. Who you got and why?
Yeah, so this is going to be a disruption because I was just talking about my Ravens, and I think they are such a strong team. But the Ravens I'm taking the Browns over the Ravens.
Okay. Browns plus 6.5.
Are you taking the points?
6.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the points. The Ravens have a good running game. That's a strong suit for them. But the Browns have a great defense. So all they have to do is slow down the run. Watson has to control the clock, have no turnovers, and then he's got Cooper and Joku, who's out here handling business. So I just see the Browns in a better spot for this week.
It's going to be a tough game.
It is gonna be a tough game. Yeah.
Right to you, Gary.
Girl, you got to stop drinking before the show. Yeah, I'm just saying that. I got the Ravens over the Browns. I'm giving up 6.5. I got the Ravens over the Browns. I mean, they're playing really, really good football right now. You know, you go to Seattle and you do that to them.
true.
Come on now. You go on the road and you go do that, coming back home. Woo.
Woo.
Imagine what they did to those Seahawks, and they're not even brown. Come on now.
and I tell you what, the Browns right now have the NFL's #1 defense.
I don't
Now,
care.
Is it hype or is it just hope?
No, they got a good defense. They really do. But that quarterback for the Ravens, come on, defend me.
Right. Well,
Make me run. Pick your poison.
right. Pick your poison. Either way, you losing. Who do you got, Professor?
It's funny, man. You'd have thought that we huddled before the show with our pick for #1. My sure shot is I
first
got
game.
it. Yeah, Cleveland and Baltimore. I got to go with Baltimore to cover at the crib. I mean, let's be real for a second. Since the last time these two teams met. Baltimore's found their offense, gotten a little healthy. Cleveland's morphed into the 5th-rated defense in the NFL. The Ravens, however, get this. Stat fact, y'all, 6-3 against the spread this year. This game's in Baltimore. They got to buy a touchdown. I could see the Ravens defense at home pulling a late second TD. That's a parlay for you, boys and girls. Ravens scored defensive TD to win, and they covered a 6.5.
We're going to have our own separate wager after this.
You know what? You just talked about a huddle before we got to this game. I promise you we did not. But my game won. Browns at Ravens. Browns have the NFL's #1 defense. These teams have played close the past 4 games, splitting 2-2. But right now, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are on fire. 6 points ain't enough. Take the Ravens to win going away. So it's 3 against 1. Another person.
That's all right. All right. I'm a winner, though. We'll see.
So there's your game 1 picks for the sure shot. But let's go right to game 2. And now we're going to go this way. Professor, you start first.
All right, I'm going to keep it around the way. It's the Commanders going to Seattle. Washington is a 6-point dog going on out there. Seahawks are another team you got to watch as a betting partner because they're 4-3 against the spread this season. And they look like they're playing just a little bit better than Washington on both sides of the football. This is the best defense, however, that we've seen out there in the Pacific Northwest since the days of the Legion of Boom. Pete Carroll got them going again. So I think that they're going to be able to get Sam Howell into 2 interceptions. They're going to be big and costly, set up short fields. I like Seattle to win and to cover the 6 at home.
Okay. And let's go right to the legend. Game 2. Who you got?
You know, I'm going to go with my I'm giving up 3.5. The Steelers over the Packers right now, and the steel curtain just came back, and they're looking good. Every time somebody tries to bet against them, they prove you wrong. They're playing for their coach. They love their coach, and I see, you know, Pittsburgh taking that 3.5 and just they don't care about it. They don't mind giving you a 3.5 start.
I'm going to tell you what. I cannot bet on Mike Tomlin, Matt Canada, and the Steelers this year. I hope you're right, but I wouldn't touch that one with a 20-foot pole.
Man, they winning. Look at their last 3 games.
Yeah. I mean, we barely won against Tennessee, but that's a whole other thing. We were in L.A. screaming at that one.
You will not respect the greatness of Mike Tomlin.
No, I will not respect the greatness of Matt Canada, ever, here or away.
He'll
Lois, game 2 for you. Who you got?
I am going to take the Bills over the Broncos. The Bills they came in hot this season, but they haven't been doing as great as they started with. But I just don't see the Broncos in a better spot, and I don't like Russell Wilson on the road.
So you got the Bills, and you're going to give up 7.5, but you're good with it.
I'm good with that.
7.5, you're good with it. All right. My game 2, we got the Texans at the Bengals. C.J. Stroud got busy last week. I think he broke every rookie record for yards in a game and most touchdowns in a game. But as a parking attendant told me in New York City once, yesterday is yesterday, and today is today. Now you're going to Cincinnati, and now you're facing the self-proclaimed Joe Breezy. I got the Bengals hot, on fire, and they are coming in the AFC North, the NFL's toughest division. Take the Bengals. You're going to lay some points on that one. You're going to lay 7.5 points to take those Bengals, but I got the Bengals by 10 or more. Trust the Bengals to get it done. Heading to game 3 this time. Let's start with the legend. Game 3 is all yours.
All right. I was so embarrassed when the Bears beat the Commanders. That just out of respect for the Bears kicking the Commanders' butt, which I thought would never happen. I'd have lost house, car, kids. I'd have lost everything if somebody would have bet me those things, because there was no way I thought that was going to happen. So I got the Bears beating the Panthers.
You got the Bears over the Panthers. That's the Thursday night game. If you want that one, you got to go early. So right now you got the Bears, and you're giving up 3.5.
Yeah.
Okay. And we got the Bears taking on the Panthers. Bears at home, giving up 3.5. I think at Carolina, they may have made a mistake with their quarterback pick, or you think it might be a little too early. I always thought he was a little too small for the position in the NFL. And I'm not hating.
Could it be Frank Wright? I'm just asking.
It could.
It kind of sounds like you're hating. I'm just saying.
The Panthers are just not a great. This game overall is just like, ooh, like who wants to pick anything off this game? I actually think the Bears are going to take it, but that's because when I drove in here today, I looked up at a cloud and it looked more like a bear than a panther. So I'm going with
You know
that.
what? Now I'm like Gary.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to
That-
say, stop
I'm just
drinking.
saying,
The cloud tells you. Well, hopefully that's not your game
That's
3
not
pick.
my pick. I'm not picking this.
We'll sweat over the hippie chick over
Where's
here.
the 20,
I'm
where's
gonna
that
scare our
20-foot
audience.
pole? I'm not touching this game. The 20-foot
Give
pole.
us your game 3 then, Lois. Make up for it. Here we go.
All right. I am going with. Now, last time I chose this team, we didn't look so good.
Oh, come on.
You know who I'm going
I
with.
know who you're going with.
I got to bring it back to the 49ers against the Jaguars. Brock Purdy has not been looking too hot recently. They're coming off this bye week. He's had time to get it together. But the Jaguars just really haven't. They're doing okay, but they haven't really played, I feel like, a big contending team. So give me the 49ers over the Jaguars.
Unfortunately, I have to agree with you on that because they beat the Steelers and we're not a big contending team. And the 49ers look good. When we were in L.A., there were so many 49er fans. They were so passionate. Oh, my God, you thought you were in Philly. All right, game 3 for you, Professor.
Not so fast, my friends. I mean, let's be real for a second.
Okay,
hold on.
Leforso.
I felt
All
his
right.
eyes like
San Francisco's
beaming
at
into my soul.
Jacksonville, right? Brock Purdy clearly ain't himself these days. Whether he's hurt or the line is failing him, he just ain't the guy that he was the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. And the better quarterback in this game, by leaps and bounds, is Trevor Lawrence. Did you see Trevor Lawrence? I told y'all at the beginning of the season there was going to be this Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, and Trevor Lawrence has just kicked Justin Gilbert and the kid in Buffalo out. Trevor Lawrence is that guy, so I like it. They're in Jacksonville. It's long travel for San Francisco. It's an early game. San Francisco's only 1-3 as a road favorite this year. So I like the fact that Jacksonville gets them. I'm taking the Jaguars outright to win that game.
Let me
Okay,
tell you
but-
why Trevor Lawrence is so high up here. Because you can't give him a dirty look. If you touch him, it's a 15-yard
Stop.
unsportsmanlike penalty.
Stop.
As long as his hair is long, you can't hit Trevor Lawrence.
Leave
That's
Jeff
the rule.
McCauley alone.
But look, yes, he's great and all, right? But it takes more than just the quarterback to win a game. And an athlete is an athlete is an athlete is an athlete. And Brock Purdy is a professional athlete. I'm sure he brought it back together.
Well, I'm sure
And
he
don't
will.
talk about Lois's 49ers. Those are her. The Ravens
They're
49ers
good. It's
commanded.
going to be a white knuckle game.
What you tell you last night?
You know, and it's only a field goal. Jacksonville at home. Home team's always good for a field goal. Come on, remember, we're betting.
We'll
Well,
see.
let me give you my game
There's
3
money
here.
on the line
We'll see what the professor / Stephen A's got to say about this. We've got the Giants at the Cowboys. Some say the Cowboys got robbed last week. I got no dog in this fight. But there were some questionable calls in that Eagles game. Either way, they got the Giants coming to Big D this week. Dallas has to give up 15.5. I think Dak is going to show out. That's right. Dak Prescott is going to show out. Look for a big win by the Cowboys this week against a hapless New York Giants team. That's my game 3 pick. Lay that 15.5. Take the Cowboys and believe. You see that? Lois is nodding because she saw it in the clouds.
I just-
Trust me.
I just will not put my money on the Giants.
This is one of the states where it's illegal, but don't worry.
No, okay, we're in this legal here. Remember that. I don't know what you're watching. Now we're down to the Sure Shot. And on today's Sure Shot, we're going to start with the legend. He got a great one for you. Give it to us.
You can count on this. You can take this to the bank. I'm getting 2.5. I got the Vikings over the Saints. I think the Vikings are they're playing energized now. They got a new real person put in. They're looking to support that player. They're looking to support that quarterback. And, hey, give me the 2.5. I'll take it. But they'll probably win outright. But I'm taking the 2.5.
I like that.
I do,
like
yeah.
that. They got Josh Dobbs there at quarterback now. Very intelligent. A real rocket science.
He came in
he is
and
a
didn't
rock
have any
star.
practice and still pulled it off.
Yes, he
so
did.
I'm with that.
Like that. Love that.
I think
pick.
that was actually supposed to be one of my picks this week.
So everybody at home, GC Sure Shot. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Lois Cook, who you got?
All right, I'm going with the Lions over the Chargers.
Okay.
I think the Chargers are a little bit overrated. The Chargers had a big win over the Jets, but the Jets just really couldn't pull it off offensively. So it wasn't that big to me, in my opinion. But the Lions get Montgomery back to help the run. The Lions also had a bye week. I think they're looking good in this spot.
I like it. I like that. Professor, who you got?
My sure shot is coming from the Houston at Cincinnati game. And like I said, right now, folks, don't look now, boys and girls. Joe Burrow's back, and he ready to ball. Now, look, C.J. Stroud was epic last week, but Burrow and the rest of these cats, because Cincinnati also plays defense, y'all. One thing you can say about everybody in the AFC North is they bring it. You know, chin straps tight. They looking to knock your head off in every game, and I think that's a big, big factor. Now, I got to give D'Amico Ryans credit because he has his team playing in that physical brand of football defensively that he played with as a player. But I got to be honest with you. Houston's rising. I think they're going to win the South. They're not going to beat Cincinnati this weekend. And I think for Cincinnati, they're going to be able with their defense to force another pick or a turnover at some point in the game. That's going to make what should be a field goal game a touchdown game. So I like Cincinnati to cover the 7 this week.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. And my sure shot, you know, I never give a sure shot without a drum roll. Give it to me, guys. Like that. My sure shot, Monday Night Football. Don't look now, but your Denver Broncos are on a 2-game winning streak. And they're going to Buffalo, where a shaky Bills team just lost last week to Cincinnati, and they are on the ropes. So, can Denver go to Buffalo and beat the Bills at home? Go against Josh Allen. Can they do it? Is anybody with me? I'm not even with me. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. 7.5. 7 ain't enough, baby.
Yeah.
Look for Buffalo to get everything right against the traveling Denver Broncos team. They got 2 good wins against 2 mediocre teams, but is about to run into a buzzsaw with Josh Allen. And there you have it. Week 10 of the NFL season, the sure shot. Remember, never bet more than you can handle. Always bet responsibly. Quick shout out before we go. A quick shout out to Tom's Restaurant. We're so glad to be back.
Yes, sir.
7 restaurants in 7 different cities across the nation. You want to watch a game, drink a cold one, enjoy some good times with your friends and good food, Tom's is the place to go. From 7 to 70, they'll be there somewhere when you need them. And lastly, a quick local shout out to Q's Barbershop, Martin Luther King Avenue in Capitol Heights. Those guys been watching us, and now we're watching you. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of the legend, the disruptor, the professor, and myself, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you again next week.
Make that money, y'all.